Thoreau planted beans, not for money and not because he needed them, because meaningful work where you actually see the results of labor by using your hands, getting your hands dirty, provides a satisfaction that no paycheck ever will. Most people work to afford a life they don't have time to live, let alone enjoy. Thoreau worked because the work itself mattered. It had purpose and meaning. This month, the Beanfield, what makes work satisfying versus soul-crushing, and why you might be working at the wrong thing even if the money is really good. Steve here, Street Smart Travel. This is part 6 in the Living Walden series, where I'm looking at Henry David Thoreau's Walden and applying the lessons to everyday life. About 4 years ago, I had a shoulder injury, 4.5 now. It took me off the tools. I had to quit my job in the trades, and my life took a very different direction, and I decided to use Walden as the blueprint, my map for going forward in my life. And last year, in 2025, I really applied it, and these are the results of some of those experiments and some insights that I had in living Walden over the entire year. In the last episode, we talked about solitude and visitors, trying to find the balance between having time alone and time around other people. I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm getting better at it. I've made some changes lately that have really improved the balance in my life regarding solitude and visitors. This month builds on that, because the people you spend time with shape who you become, and so does the work that you do. Now, Thoreau and the Beanfield, he planted 7 acres of beans, literally worked the land. That needed care every day, from prepping the soil to planting the seeds to watering them to weeding to just taking care of them. A little bit of work every day until you get the reward at the end of it. And the chapter tracks his progress across all of these activities and how it made him feel. The point is that he could see the result of his work every day. He could see, this is how I spent my time today, and realize that it was purposeful and fulfilling for him. He didn't do it for the profit. He barely broke even. He did it to understand economy, labor, and what work actually means. To experience the satisfaction that comes with working with your hands, getting your hands, in this case, in the soil and getting them dirty, working with nature. To test what happens when you do work that produces real results. Now, maybe you don't get that kind of satisfaction from the work you do, depending what it is. So can you find that satisfaction outside of work by doing something that you do with your hands? Maybe it's arts and crafts. Maybe it's learning an instrument, a musical instrument, or a skill, or whatever it happens to be. Find your Beanfield. The core insight. Thoreau said, I learned from my 2 years that if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. The work wasn't the point. The meaning he derived from doing the work, that was the point. A lot of people miss this. They chase money, status, or job titles, doing things they don't enjoy to create a life they don't have time to live, let alone enjoy. Thoreau was very purposeful. I'm going to plant these 7 acres. I'm going to do every day something to help these plants grow, and then at harvest time, I will reap my reward. And all along the way, he was rewarded by seeing, here's the result of the work that I did today. The modern problem. Most work is abstracted. You can't see the result of what you've done that day. For example, if you're crunching numbers in a spreadsheet, that might be fed into another part of whatever the company does, and you don't see the direct result. Your part is important, it needs to be done, but you're not deriving any meaning or purpose from crunching numbers in that spreadsheet. You feel like a cog in a machine, and there's no reward for the work that you do aside from your paycheck. The result is that you feel empty, even if you're making good money. Real work has tangible results. Build something, you can see it. Repair something, it works. Grow something, it produces. The satisfaction is immediate, and it's real. So for me today, I did some painting out front. Now the entrance was looking a little rough, so it needed to be painted. I cleaned it up, took a day or two to get the dust and the dirt off these surfaces. Today I painted it. It looks a million times better, and I'll put another coat on it, and it'll look even better still. that's a meaningful way to spend my time. And I was listening to audiobooks and enjoying the process as well as the final result. That's the whole point of the Beanfield. At the end of your workday, can you point to something and say, I did that, I fixed that, I created that, I improved that? If no, maybe you're working at the wrong thing. And maybe you're not going to find that purpose in your work. Maybe that's something you do outside of work. Find something you enjoy doing with your hands and make time to do it on a regular basis. If you do derive pleasure from your work, even if it's free or for minimal pay, in my case I volunteer, you're likely more satisfied than someone making 6 figures, pushing pixels, crunching numbers on a spreadsheet, feeling like a cog in a giant machine. The question isn't, am I paid enough? The question is, can I see what I built, what I created, what I repaired, and how do I feel about those results? Satisfaction doesn't come from a paycheck. Satisfaction comes from doing meaningful things with your time. A lot of people think, I'll get paid, I'll buy things, and I'll be happy. But the reality is, through meaningful work, you feel capable, which leads to a sense of satisfaction. I spent my time very well today. The paycheck is secondary. Thoreau made almost nothing from his beans, but he felt accomplished. My volunteer work reinforces this for me daily. I don't get paid in cash for the volunteer work that I do. I get paid in room and board, so it's an exchange of value, not an exchange of currency, and I've talked about this a lot in other videos. I could be building, fixing things, creating stuff, teaching, it doesn't matter. It's something different every day. I like that variety too. But I'm contributing something to my hosts and ideally to the community, something that is going to benefit not just the owner of the property, but also the wider community. That work satisfies me way more than any job that I've ever done to this point. There's an element of service in it, as well as accomplishment and purpose. For me, the most important thing is I can see the impact immediately, like painting that front entrance today, or weeding gardens, or planting, or whatever it happens to be. I know what it looked like at the beginning of the day, and I have thousands of before and after shots. My hosts usually laugh about that, but I'll send them on WhatsApp. Here's what it looked like this morning, here's what I did, and here's what it looks like now. And wow, okay, that's great. That's real work. You don't have to quit your job and move to Ecuador. Don't do that. Your Beanfield might be a side project, it might be building a skill, it might be time spent enjoying a hobby. It can be whatever you want it to be. Just be clear when you choose it. This is something I want to spend time doing 3 or 4 times a week, 15 minutes at a minimum each time, or ideally every day. It's anything where you do real work with your hands that leads to real results, where you can see this is the result of my work. The point is to identify an area where you do work that matters to you, that gives you a sense of meaning and purpose. It doesn't matter if it's big or small, it doesn't have to be monumental. And you'll notice over time that where you started out with minimal skill and ability in that area, pursuing the hobby, project, side gig, whatever it is that you do, you'll see the difference over time as your skills compound. And if it's something you enjoy doing, what would you rather be doing with your time anyways? Now, as always, the challenge. 2 levels, easy mode, hard mode. So for easy mode, this is about finding your Beanfield. Pick one small project with tangible results. Be building, fixing, creating, doesn't matter what it is, just pick a thing. Or it could be improving something. Maybe something you worked on before, like, yeah, it's not quite finished, or now I know I have the skills to be able to make that even better. Spend 5 to 10 hours this month working on that thing. That's 10 minutes a day, that's nothing. If you can do more, do more. Try not to do less. Try to set aside at least an hour to an hour and a half a week, and then let that compound over time. There's going to be weeks where, oh, I don't have time for this, I'm too busy, and then there'll be other weeks I actually have some extra time. It's probably not going to be the same every week, but make the time on a regular schedule to dedicate to doing something you enjoy doing that shows you tangible results. Something that at the end of the day you can point to it and say, this is what I did with my time today. For me, it was painting this front entrance. It looks amazing. I feel good about it. I know the hosts are going to like it. The guests, the residents here, they're going to like it too. Does it change anything? It changes the appearance. Still functions the same way, but it looks way better, much more inviting. And track, how does this make you feel over time? As you gain more skill in this area, as you're more accomplished, as you're getting better at whatever it is that you choose to do with your hands, to spend your time. That feeling of accomplishment is everything. 2, hard mode. Thoreau's Beanfield. Take it on for 30 days. Find work that produces real results that you do deliberately and do it daily. Could be volunteer work, that's what I do. Could be a creative outlet. Could be building a skill. Could be improving something that you did in the past. Whatever it is, make time to do that every single day. And do it because the work itself matters, because you enjoy it, because you like seeing the result of, I did this. I was working with my hands, it took me this much time, I started here, and I ended up here. If you're a musician, maybe you compose a piece of music. If you're an artist, maybe you're into painting, you start with a blank canvas. If you're a writer, you start with a blank page and you end up with a story or whatever it is that you're working on. And track what happens to your level of satisfaction, your level of skill, your sense of meaning and purpose over time. When you find the thing that's really important to you that you enjoy doing, time disappears. That's the Beanfield. Find something that you enjoy doing, make time to do it every single day, even a little bit of time, and notice how much better you feel about yourself and your life and how much more you're enjoying life. That's the lesson of the Beanfield. Pick your tier, find your Beanfield. Come back next month and share what you've learned. Here's something I want you to think about. At the end of your workday, what did you build, create, repair, fix? If you can't answer that, you're not doing real work. You're just trading time for money. Real work satisfies, gives you a sense of accomplishment, of purpose, of meaning. It doesn't matter if it pays much or not. It matters if it means something to you. And I feel that every day doing volunteer work, whether that's working in the garden, painting, building things, fixing things, chopping firewood, doesn't matter what it is. I can look at the physical result. This is how I spent my time today, and I feel that was a very good use of my time. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. To modernize that a bit, figure out what's important to you. Get clarity about that. Make time to get better at it every day, or at least many days. 3 to 4 days a week, 7 if you can do it, and see how that makes you feel over time. Track your progress. See where you started, the kind of work you were able to do with the skills you had at the time when you first started, and see how it progresses over time. Constant upgrading of your skill, of doing something you enjoy, this compounding that happens every time you do it, builds on itself. Sometimes you'll notice your results get better, other times you feel like you plateaued. But as long as you're doing something that engages you and makes you feel like you're spending your time in a worthwhile way, and it produces results that you enjoy, what could be better than that? Next episode, 7, The Village, engaging with the world on your terms. Thoreau didn't stay in the woods forever. He went to town, he interacted with people. He had to still live in the real world, but he did it on his own terms. It was very clear that he needed time alone and he needed time around people, and was very intentional about how he spent his time, with whom, and what he was doing. We've covered removal, economy, environment, input, relationships, and now work. Next month, how to engage with the wider world without losing yourself. Until then, live deliberately. See you next month.